Hi, everybody, and welcome to No Kill in Motion. I'm here today with Shirley Marsh of Yes Biscuit, Alan Rosenberg of the New Jersey Animal Observer, and Aubrey Kavanaugh from No Kill Huntsville, and David Smith from No Kill Colorado. Today, there was a bill that came into California called the California Dog and Cats Bill of Rights. And basically what it is the it says that shelters and rescues have to provide people with this bill of rights that their dog or cat has, but it's really just informational. It doesn't look like it's enforceable, and it's all based on the 5 freedoms. And what I think is really interesting as well is the shelters and rescues are not accountable for the bill of rights, just new owners, or just owners in general of companion animals. So I don't think it actually does any harm, but I don't see what it does. It doesn't save a single life, from what I can see. It's unenforceable anyway. And if this passes and actually goes all the way through, there's going to be big cheering and thrills about an animal bill of rights, which doesn't seem to do anything with them. Alan, I know you've looked at this. What do you think about the California Dog and Cat Bill of Rights?
It's a joke. I think when I looked at the bill, it only required shelters like to put the sign of the Bill of Rights on their door, basically saying like the public should like feed and water their animals and socialize them and things like that. But it doesn't require anything of anyone. So all this really is some kind of feel-good legislation that the sponsors can put in their resume for the next election to say, hey, we're friendly to animals. And the shelters can say, hey, look, we're doing something. We passed this animal legislation, which is really a distraction for real legislation that requires shelters to actually not kill their animals and to actually save them. So to me, it's a complete waste of time. Also, as you alluded to, it talks about the 5 freedoms, but it doesn't really talk about a freedom to live. Which is the most important freedom, because you can't have the other 5 freedoms without it. And we know the freedom to live really is most important when it relates to shelters, because that's where most young, healthy dogs go to die as opposed to other causes.
Yeah, and Aubrey, you've written about the 5 freedoms, I think more than once, and that's basically what this bill is. What has been your take?
Yeah, I think when I wrote about it before, we were talking about socially conscious sheltering, which is a concept that comes up every now and then. David, you're familiar with that, being from Colorado. And I think I wrote a blog, something to the effect that time travel really was possible. Let's just go back in time and call it the 5 freedoms and then applaud each other and pat each other on the back and say we've done a good thing. So I've been watching this bill as it's gone along. It's Assembly Bill 1881. And pardon me while I move my mouse, I'm going to skip over and look at it. The latest version of it, it will probably pass. They want some other minor amendment to it, but on June 28th, it got referred to appropriations, and now it's not even freedoms. It doesn't say anything about rights. It says dogs and cats deserve to be free from. Dogs and cats deserve. So I guess instead of even calling it a rights bill, I guess, is there such a thing as a deserve bill? I mean, the whole thing, it's ridiculous. Like, one of the things is dogs and cats deserve a life of comfort, free of fear and anxiety. Well, yeah, everybody's on board with that. But like Alan said, all it does is it says that a notice has to be posted that explains what are no longer rights, but things that animals deserve. So if I run a shelter, I have to post this thing on a wall. And if I don't, well, gosh, I could be fined. So I always wonder when I see these bills, okay, number one, what are we hoping to accomplish? I don't know what anybody is hoping to accomplish other than what Alan said, to make themselves look good and say, oh, I'm animal friendly, look at me. The second thing is, how are you going to enforce it? Okay, is California really going to spend resources to enforce this by having the notice police go around and look and see, is your notice on the wall? And even if it is, again, what have we accomplished? Nothing. And the thing that I think always gets me is people don't realize how much time is spent on these things. They get written, they go through a legislative review process by lawyers to make sure they don't conflict with existing state law. then they go to one committee, then another committee, and another committee. So all these people are spending times having meetings about this and talking about it when they could be talking about something that actually would be of value and actually help. And this isn't it.
I also saw I think 5 lobbyist groups that posted statements too. And, you know, I mean, obviously those people are working and getting paid, but they're getting paid to actually work on legislation that really, as we said, it's not going to do anything. Shirley, what is your view of this dog and cats Bill of Rights?
Basically what's previously been said. I mean, it's just one of those, how is it going to be useful? How is it going to be enforced? If it is even enforceable, who is going to interpret it? I mean, in the example that Aubrey just gave, how is it going, who is going to determine, and how is it going to be determined if a dog or a cat is comfortable and not anxious? I mean, it's just, it doesn't do anything in the real world to help dogs or cats, and it doesn't do anything to address the situation of where we know dogs and cats are actually living in discomfort and with high anxiety is in shelters, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't mention anything about how dogs and cats have rights in shelters. It only mentions for the public. So I just don't see where it's in any way useful.
Well, you know, I think I'm just going to come out and talk directly to the camera to California and say, you know, you have the opportunity, you know, you passed the Hayden Act, which is one of the best legislations actually passed in the United States for homeless pets, and it was very effective. And you can go the next step and actually do the Companion Animal Protection Act, which, if you don't know where that is, you can get in touch with any of us and we'll actually give you model legislation for that. But that's where we really need to go, right? With legislation that actually affects the lives of homeless pets, instead of we keep seeing these laws that don't, they basically reiterate the status quo that we expect, and quite often in an unenforceable fashion. So hopefully we'll see a change in California and actually trying to pass something that's actually worthwhile for homeless pets. That's all the time we have today. You've been watching No Kill in Motion. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with Aubrey Kavanaugh from No Kill Huntsville, Shirley Marsh from Yes Biscuit, Alan Rosenberg from New Jersey Animal Observer. I'm David Smith from No Kill Colorado. Thanks for joining us today.